676 Donus begins his reign as Catholic Pope, replacing Pope Adeodatus II. In 1208 peace treaty between the Chinese Jin and Song dynasties, the Song resumed paying tribute after 2 years of fighting. In 1327 King Alfonso Roman IV of Aragon crowned. In 1355 English invasion army under King Edward lands at Calais. In 1418 Utrecht conquers Eiselstein. In 1642 Second Battle of Breitenfeld. First Battle of Leipzig. Victory for the Swedish army under Field Marshal Lennart Torstenson over Holy Roman Empire army under Archduke Leopold Wilhelm of Austria. 1648 12,000 Jews massacred by Savage hordes in Narol Podlia. In 1675 King Philip's War, Plymouth Colony Governor Josiah Winslow leads Plymouth, Rhode Island, Massachusetts Bay and Connecticut militias attacks against the Narragansetts, fearing they would join King Philip's cause. In 1698 Scottish settlers make landfall in Panama, establishing the ill-fated Darien Venture colony. In 1712 Suriname government gives French hijacker Jacques Cassard 680,800. In 1722 Willem Roman IV Prince of Orange XI appointed Stadtholder Gelderland. In 1749 English Ohio Trade Company forms first trading post. In 1772 Boston Anti-English Committee of Correspondence forms. In 1783 General George Washington, later first U.S. President, bids farewell to his army after the American Revolutionary War. In 1813 Treaty of Fulda signed in Germany after Battle of Leipzig. In 1841 Akbar Khan successfully revolts against Shah Shuja in Afghanistan. Franklin Pierce elected 1852 Democrat Franklin Pierce elected 14th President of the United States. In 1854 cobblestone paving of Washington St. between Dupont and Kearny starts. John Brown guilty of murder. 1859 American abolitionist John Brown found guilty of murder, inciting slaves to revolt, and treason against the Virginia Territory during his raid of Harpers Ferry Armory, and sentenced to hang. In 1861 American Civil War, Western Department Union General John C. Fremont is relieved of command and replaced by David Hunter. In 1867 Women's Fashion magazine Harper's Bazaar is first published. In 1868 Time Zone, New Zealand officially adopts a standard time to be observed nationally. In 1875 Verney Cameron reaches Belair in Angola from Africa's east coast, the first European to cross equatorial Africa from sea to sea. In 1881 Dutch New-Malthusiaanse Union forms. In 1886 German patent granted to inventor Carl Benz for vehicle with gas engine operation, the first automobile No. to 37,435 c. In 1889 North Dakota becomes 39th, South Dakota becomes 40th state in the United States. In 1892 French poet Paul Verlaine visits Netherlands. Herzl arrives in Jerusalem. 1898 Austro-Hungarian Jewish activist Theodor Herzl arrives in Jerusalem. In 1898 cheerleading begins in the United States as Johnny Campbell leads the crowd cheering on the football team at the University of Minnesota. In 1898 French government of Dupont forms. In 1899 Boers begin siege of Ladysmith, Natal. In 1903 British newspaper Daily Mirror begins publishing. In 1903 Lyceum Theater New Lyceum opens at 149 W45 St NYC. In 1903 New Amsterdam Theater opens at 214 W42 St NYC. In 1907 Ottawa Mint Proclamation is published. Bank Panic of 1907 US banker J.P. Morgan locks over 40 bankers in his library to force them to find ways to avert New York banking crisis. In 1913 St. Louis Browns player-manager George Stovall, fired the previous summer, is the first MLB player to jump to the Federal League, signing to manage the Kansas City Packers. In 1914 Great Britain annexes Cyprus. In 1914 Great Britain declares the entire North Sea a military area. Neutral ships will transit it at their own risk. In 1914 Russia declares war on the Ottoman Empire. In 1915 first U.S. election by proportional representation, Ashtabula, Ohio. In 1916 Battle of Verdun, Fort Vaux reconquered from Germans by French troops without firing a shot. Balfour Declaration 1917 British government proclaims support for a Jewish homeland in Palestine in the Balfour Declaration. In 1917 in WWI the first US soldiers are killed in combat, James Gresham, Thomas Enright, and Merle Hay. In 1917 Lansing Ishii Agreement, US recognizes Japan's privileges in China. Harding elected 1920 Warren G. Harding is elected President of the United States, defeating Democrat candidate James M. Cox. In 1920 Westinghouse radio station in East Pittsburgh, KDKA begins broadcasting, with presidential and local election returns. In 1922 Allies deliberate over German mark. In 1923 bloody street fights in Aachen led to establishment of the ill-fated Rhenish Republic. Stresemann government collapses 1923 Gustav Stresemann's German coalition government collapses after Social Democrat ministers step down. In 1924 Sunday Express publishes first British crossword puzzle. Shostakovich's First Symphony 1928 Dmitri Shostakovich's First Symphony premieres in US with Leopold Stokowski leading the Philadelphia Orchestra at the Academy of Music, Philadelphia. Haile Selassie crowned 1930 coronation of Rastafari Makonnen as Haile Selassie I, the 225th emperor of the Ethiopian Solomonic dynasty. In 1931 Warren, Dixon and Young's musical Laugh Parade premieres in NYC. In 1932 the Great Emu War begins. Australian soldiers armed with Lewis guns seek to cull the emu population over crop destruction in Campion District, Western Australia. In 1936 at 3 p.m, the BBC begins the world's first regular high-definition TV broadcast service from specially constructed studios at Alexandra Palace, North London. In 1936 the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation CBC is established. In 1938 Boston Red Sox first baseman Jimmy Fox is voted most valuable player of the American League for the third time. 1940 to 11th day of battle at El Alamein, British assault on Tel El Akakir. In 1943 Jewish ghetto of Riga in Latvia is destroyed. In 1944 Canadian troops occupy Knock in Belgium. In 1944 US 28th Infantry Division opens assault on